Welcome to Clixed Off, brought to you by Lucky Dice Cafe out of Huntsville, Alabama. Check them out at LuckyDiceCafe.com. And now for your hosts, Daniel Powell, Jason Alvey, Alex Coons, and Tylor Spees.
Hey everybody, welcome to Clixed Off today. This is your host Daniel Powell speaking. Just want to let everybody know that Clixed Off is brought to you by TrollandToad.com, world's largest HeroClix retailer. Use coupon code CliXedOff for 5% off your HeroClix order. Merchant and pre-order items do not apply. And if you like what you're hearing today on Clixed Off, check us out, patreon.com/CliXedOff. $1 and above gets entered into our monthly giveaways. $5 and above gets entered also into our Discord server for HeroClix strategy and tactics. Additionally, very important, I still have a $50 winner from last month that has not gotten back to me. Chris Souther. I want to give you about another week to get with me on... I need your email address for Troll and Toad. So, if we appreciate your support, but I need you to read your DM on Facebook, please. And I tagged you on Facebook and stuff. So, if anybody knows Chris Souther, kind of put out the net there to have him reply to me. This month's giveaway is a very generous $150 web credit from Troll and Toad. We're probably going to talk about right after the show how we're going to divvy that up. Probably be three $50 web credits, but be on the lookout in our Facebook group for the last week of the month here on how to enter to get that giveaway. This is what happens when you don't do a podcast in 5 months. You stumble over your words. So, and joining me today is Jason Future Marvel Snap Pro Alvey.
That's right. I'm just retiring from Clicks and playing Snap all the time.
That was current Marvel Snap Pro.
And
Future.
And also today is Tylor. Finally feeling better. Spees.
Yep, that is true.
And lastly, but not leastly as usual, is Alex buying them Ollie Clicks Coos.
I had two Ollies in town, and I finally found one that had something. It was Hobbit, and we've opened 12 packs, and they're all duplicate. Well, it's like the same four commons.
What's Ollie's?
Ollie's, it's like a discount. And one of those stores that gets like all the Target and like all the things they
overstock.
Yeah, they sell to these places, but they also get like old stuff. That's how they got like Hobbit and a bunch of old sets. And so I bought
Ranger Clicks.
I saw Collateral Damage.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But I knew everyone was saying the one from Ollie's is just like a bunch of comments and stuff. But I'm literally in the middle of reading The Hobbit to my boys. So it's like, well, I can't just pass up the opportunity and be like, here's what Gandalf looks like as a HeroClix. So,
yeah, right. So, what's funny doing the intro there? We haven't done a podcast since November 4th, so like it's been more like 6 weeks, Alex.
We posted it on the 11th.
Oh, we did the 11th. Oh, okay. So it's still closer to
all over a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Doing the intro, I had to remember y'all's names.
Wow.
I was like, golly. Well, like we talk all the time, right? And like obviously I know y'all's names, but like I don't know. Like during the intro, I was like, oh my gosh, what in the world? So
yeah, you read things. You read things all the time. It's like the first time you read like Harry Potter for a while, and then you saw the movies.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Her name's Hermione?
Hermione?
Yeah, that's how I read it. It's like you never have to like pronunciate
right.
it.
Or like for the long, I'll give this one away on myself. Back in the day, right? Like when I was in high school, Linkin Park came out, and like I had never like saw their CD at the store yet, and I thought it was Linkin Park. like the president.
Oh, spelled.
Yeah. And then everyone was like, nerd, it's Linkin. And I'm like, I didn't know. How was I supposed to know?
And he never lived it down.
He never could listen to Linkin Park again.
I'm sure that's not true.
That is not
Linkin Park
true.
is the best band in the world.
But it is very good.
That's debatable, but okay.
It's
Yeah,
a little
that's the
debatable,
full
but...
claim.
Everybody loves Linkin Park, I feel like.
I don't dislike Linkin Park, but I don't think they're the greatest band of all time.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
But yeah, so like I don't see y'all's names all the time, right? Like I see Jason's name all the time, but when I see Mr. Flash Snapper and
That's still my name.
Yes.
and Turbo Man all the time.
Turbo Man, definitely.
In our
That's
chat.
from last Christmas.
That's last year. It's still relevant now.
Yeah. Kids come back.
So
For reference, we have a Facebook Messenger group of the team, and in Facebook Messenger you can nickname people, which we have a good time with.
right. So Jason, did you turn 43 this year?
Yes.
So the longest running nickname in any of the Clixed Off group chats is our local chat, which Kyle Cooney, who some of the OGs remember on the show, has the longest running nickname, and now over 3 years of guys. I'm really hungry. Let's go eat, as that's how we lured Jason to his 40th birthday party.
Wow.
They were playing games, and Kyle was like, I'm really hungry. Let's go eat. That was his way to get Jason to go over to the Mexican restaurant.
It's almost 4 years. As of tomorrow, I'm 2 months out from my 44th birthday. So.
Yeah. So we kind of can't change Kyle's nickname at this point. So.
Yeah, it's a classic.
It is. So, but yeah, a lot. So I think talking about like how we haven't had a podcast for 5 weeks. I just want to go ahead and get this out of the way. We need WKOs in states back in 2023. So as we review 22 and look forward to the future, I just want to go ahead and get that out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Right.
That's it. I don't want to talk about
and
it.
we need communication on when they're coming.
That's right.
Including Worlds and Nats.
Yes. You got it. And you know what? Like, I don't want to be too greedy, but could you imagine the return of monthly LEs?
Oh my!
Right.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, WKOs for sure. That's the big one for me. That is it. So much, having that to look forward to every quarter, and just like keeping everything fresh.
Right. Keeps the meta fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of stuff.
Now,
So,
were they? Am I thinking incorrectly? Were they talking about getting rid of those monthly LEs prior to COVID and everything?
That's
happening?
been too long ago to even remember.
I don't remember. That was a
Another
different
lifetime.
universe.
I know that.
That was
like 10 years ago at this point.
well, it's 3. I was talking to my boss about it today, and I was like, it's been 3 years since we learned about COVID. So like, so I don't want to get into like the we've got to have it, like we all understand that COVID supply chain issues are still a thing. We understand the world's not ever going to be perfect again, probably for a long time, but we need organized playback. And I understand The Rock is different from WizKids, but very specifically for WizKids, please bring back WKOs along with everything else. I don't want to. Is it okay, guys? I'll let y'all add anything, but I just want to leave it at that. I don't want to get into a rant about it.
No, that is all that really needs to be said. They did, push for Nats and Worlds this year, which was good, and we got that. There were some mixed reviews on on both, but it happened. Hopefully this year's an improvement. But yeah, WKO's is the next step, and it needs to happen. Hope this year. It's gotta.
Yeah, it's gotta.
Yeah.
Right. You know, there's lots of hyperbole and all kinds of other stuff that we could get into, but just we'll leave it at that. So today we are here to talk about the review of 2022. That's a lot of our insight into 2023. And so I think we'll start out with the questions a little bit. I think that's a good way to kind of wrap up the year, right? The listeners, y'all make it worth it to do all this stuff. We greatly appreciate y'all. So we typically do the listener questions at the end of the episode. Let's do it at the front this time.
Sure.
Wesley Robertson,
All right, let's go.
Do y'all have any information about the upcoming rules changes? Obviously, there's equipment changes, but I also heard some vague reference to terrain changes. Is there anything else down the pipe that y'all know of? So that's on facebook.com/Clixed Off. Look at our the PowerPoint slides that we did. They've talked about terrain and placeable terrain at Worlds. Alex, go ahead. I was gonna.
No, I agree with that. Was there somebody in the new set that had something to do with terrain? I feel like I remember seeing that.
No, because the new terrain's coming out in Spider-Man.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's where now you may have seen a preview. We saw one or two pieces from Spider-Man, I think.
Yeah, like there I remember Sniper's Nest.
Yeah, so the whole thing I think is equipment's getting changed in Batman, which we've already got almost all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Spider-Man is changing terrain to a degree. There's now going to be you bring terrain to the map. We don't know how it's going to work, but we assume it's kind of like objects where you put them out. You probably put the terrain out, and there's something to do with that.
Yeah, my guess is it's going to be costed, and it'll have an effect.
Yeah.
I'm going to
for Sniper's Nest, and
I'm just going to immediately disagree with you there. I'm going to say that it's not.
You think it's going to be free?
I think it's going to be free and busted AF. Let's just might as well, right?
No, I disagree. You could be right, and I could be incorrect, but
I don't think it'll take a sideline spot, because that doesn't really make sense. That terrain takes that. I think it's it's kind of like we have the part on the build sheet where you used to put objects that you put on the field. I feel like that's going to be what it is. You're limited to probably not 3 special terrain,
I would guess 1 per team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is all, guessing. I do know, well, it's not know. It's aren't we expected to get a new rule book? New rule changes?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's true. Well, because they have that weird updated rules section for the objects. And
I think
they have to release that at some point, at least, in paper form, I'm assuming.
Right. Well, remember, they don't print the comprehensive anymore.
Oh, true.
But I think they did allude to, okay, well, we have the new equipment rules, we have the new terrain, so that's going to build up into, a newer.
They've also alluded a couple times that they're looking at barrier and things like that, blocking terrain. So I'm guessing there's going to be a change there. So yeah, I think there's a new rule book coming. If not with Spider-Man, then the next set.
So Spider-Man does say this is where I've seen it on the WizKids shop. They say there's going to be a core rule book that's a 2023 edition.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, there you go.
That's the core book, obviously, the one that no one looks at. But still, the fact that there is a 2023 edition and they're not referring to 2021, which I think they were doing with some older stuff, it makes sense that at this point, we got to make some changes. And didn't they also allude to it with barrier? When they said they weren't going to, the problem ultimately is with barrier.
Yes, they're looking at barrier. They're looking at blocking terrain, things like that. So it seems like it's coming. something.
I want to look at that wording real quick because I can't remember if they said it was just the terrain that was changing or.
One thing I was expecting to change and didn't is, and it's confirmed that it didn't, is the Green Lantern team ability. I thought that was going to be nerfed or changed in some way. It's too good. It's make it uncopyable. It's far and away the best team ability by like a mile and a half. It's insane to me that is a copyable team ability. But
they say due to upcoming terrain rules changes, potentially fixing it. Yeah, I think that's amplified by the fact that you don't subtract for carrying anymore.
Yeah, and it's just like it's crazy to me that freaking Mary Jane can sidestep your whole team for 15 points. But like I said, I said, we've seen cards. Oh, that's one more thing I'll mention is that this has not been stated anywhere by WizKids, I don't think, but I've heard it from like 5 people, and I'm just gonna say it. I haven't heard that it's gonna happen, but I've heard that it's a possibility. Is that the Spider-Man team ability might be changing to be similar to Wonder Woman?
That's just been a rumor on Facebook.
It's been a rumor for a while. I've heard it from a lot of people. Maybe they won't change it, but it kind of makes sense because it seems like they're narrowing that down more and more to just be team player is the only thing that does that. Is there anything other than team player and Spider-Man anymore?
Snowflake or
wait, no, there's
Does Legion of Superheroes still do it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I just looked at that one. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of because I just looked at that because we were looking at Superman. Enemy.
So that seems to make sense with them coming out with Wonder Woman and with them removing Wildcard from other team abilities. So that could be something that was changed in maybe Spider-Man coming up, but maybe not. That's just a rumor, but I thought it fit there.
That's a wild rumor.
Yep, it is.
Or maybe not. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out in a couple months.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah, you heard
I'm
it.
just sick of it. I've literally heard that from like half a dozen people, and I'm just like, it might happen.
Right. You heard it here first, or incorrectly, or correctly. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
I will say, like, it is a benefit that they have kept Green Lantern Corps, like that type of team ability, to just DC. Could you imagine in Marvel? Because we get so many more Marvel sets than DC sets.
Yeah, at least it's a little limited because of that. Sometimes you go like stretches where it's not even modern legal, except for like a random LE.
Yeah, like this past time, it was like, okay, we've got Teen Lantern, we've got Chip, and that one Green Lantern. We've got really good 3 decent pieces, and that's kind of it. You got to force those 3.
Yeah.
If you want that to happen.
Yeah, it is shocking to me that is confirmed to not be changed, but okay, that's all of the rules.
All right,
I think
that's all we know. That's all we know, correctly or incorrectly. Kari asked, what are some of the worst pieces of 2022? So something we typically don't talk about.
Let's just open War of the Realms.
All those pieces from the new set that had their moving attack on the back half of their dial to the front.
Yes.
Mm.
I mean, you could take most of the commons and uncommons and just like, spin a wheel with all of them on there and just point your finger and probably find like a pretty terrible one.
Yeah, but I think it's worse when it's not a common or uncommon and it's bad.
Okay, so do we want to put super rare or higher? Or let's just do chases.
I know mine, like for sure, is Thor. From Empire.
Empire. Yeah.
The one where I looked at it and I was like, "This is a 50-point piece. I'm never playing this." And then I was like, "Oh, it's actually 100 points."
Right.
Yeah, that's my build.
Mm-hmm.
Super rare Thor.
No, that's the chase.
Yeah, the chase.
Very bad. Very not good. The sculpt's cool, but it is not good.
Yep.
My vote, if we're doing chases, this is a different type of worse.
Okay.
It's worse as in disappointing. Not just, oh, this is a bad figure. Ultron Infinity.
Yeah, that's fair.
Where it's just like, he's not a bad piece point blank if you just look at him. You're like, oh, that's not terrible for 125. But then you're like, but this is supposed to be like...
He ate a galaxy.
Like, he's supposed to be crazy. And this is just a running shot energy explosion.
It's probably the most powerful canon character in the MCU.
Yeah,
maybe even like the comics too.
He's up there for sure, obviously, right? He's like going to multiverses, eating galaxies. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's 125 point running shot piece.
The problem is, it's like the worst pieces are like always like half the chases.
I disagree. Like,
okay, so like worse is worse. I mean, it's like bad, but when you look at like things that should be like competitively good, like,
well, I'm not talking. There are good figures that are not competitive figures.
I agree.
And Thor is not one of those people.
But like,
this is very, keep in mind, this could be a very subjective question.
It is
for sure.
It
As
is.
it should be.
But like, I think like Thor, Deadpool, Captain Thanos, Norrin Rad, Sentry, Hulk, Ricky Barnes. Like,
I like Ricky Barnes.
Yeah, Ricky Barnes is not worse. That's a. The thing is that's why it's subjective, is because we all have different definitions of worse.
Right.
We do, but like, if I look at a piece like Green Widow from the new set, Dan would say, right, utter garbage. She's bad, but like, it's a decent figure. It's 100 points. Like, you can play this in a casual game and not feel bad. It's just like weird pick and power stuff. I would never call this a bad figure, but it's not a competitive figure.
Right.
Yeah, she's a good figure. She's just not competitive great.
Right, but Dan would say
that
means the same thing.
Well, no. I always say every figure at HeroClix is kitchen table playable. You disagree with me and say, well, not all of them.
This is subjective. Because what does that even mean? You can technically play every piece. That is true. But
right.
You don't want to play every piece.
That's subjective. I'm saying technically you can play them all.
Oh,
Jason, do you have a worse chase?
Lady Roma.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I like that piece. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. If you like her so much, why don't you play her?
Who's Lady Roma?
That's the one with the elevation. Like, she's real good.
No, I know.
Get her onto a map.
I just don't know who she is as a character. No,
but the worst part is just not even like her cool traits. It's the fact that you look at her dial and you're like, those aren't colors I've seen together in a long time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yellow, purple, green, yellow, like phasing smoke cloud. Okay,
nice.
Yeah, you know what? I'll give an actual answer. How about that? I'm just looking through. I keep getting hit with the additional security check is required on Realms. So I've
never got that.
I'm not getting that either.
Yeah, apparently my computer must be a bot today. Worst figure.
And we're leaving it kind of to chases, unless you just have a definite.
Yeah, Red Root the Forest.
Which one?
That's a super rare. Never mind.
He's a super rare. He's not a chase.
Yeah, he's still pretty bad because
That's a cool figure. I love that figure.
Yeah,
there's also two of them.
He cost us our team sealed.
Okay. This is personal.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? It's a you know what? Red Root the Forest. That's my answer.
How's it not Professor X?
That's fair.
You know what? Because you kind of took my answer of Ultron Infinity.
Yeah, Dan was upset about that one.
Yeah, right. Because
I could change mine to Professor X. It's another.
There
Professor
you go.
X.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Hey guys, let me tell you about this Ultron Infinity. It's a piece of crap.
I'm gonna change my mind and say Arachnite.
What?
What?
Yeah, y'all charging way too much for that thing. It's all, yeah. sell it to me for less.
Didn't you
Okay,
end
yeah.
up? Didn't you end up actually getting one finally?
I have one. Yeah.
Yeah, but he needs 2.
I need 2.
He needs 3 so he can run 3 Arachnids
Yeah.
instead of 3 Apocalypse.
I need that price to come down. Garbage figure.
Yeah,
Right.
we'll see later why he's so expensive.
What are your top 5? So McConnell asked, "What are your top 5 legacy card figures released in 2022?"
I don't know, Dan. Man, that's gonna be tough.
It's a tough one.
You know what, guys?
Is there a way to search legacy?
It was the rise and fall of Thanos in 2022.
That's true. That is very true. He came and he went.
Yeah,
Probably also the rise and fall of Apocalypse.
LG.
Yeah.
No.
He's fallen, but he's tripped, but he's not like falling.
he's gotten he got the first hit that Thanos got. Thanos survived his first hit. Jason, can he survive the second? Or sorry,
No.
yeah, can APOC survive the second?
Thanos is a very fun kitchen table piece.
Yeah. I tell you what, though. To be honest, the amount of memes that came out because of Thanos, like I cannot still not process this year the disparity between some of the same folks complaining the meta's too expensive to get into. The $75 Thanos that makes a whole entire team for $200, right? 75 plus like the rest of the team. Oh no, he's too powerful because everybody can get him.
Those are separate issues.
No, but the same people make the same complaints.
The hard part, I think, most is just it was you making most of the complaints about the complainers, and then it was also like it's the cheapest team you could ever field. I also suddenly have 20 of them. Does anyone want to buy 20 Thanoses?
You know what?
Well, no.
That I would say the Thanos collection. I have to thank Jason for that one. I've given Jason a few deals on some stuff throughout this year from it because he tagged me in it. But yeah, the highlight.
Does that mean that I unleashed 2 plagues upon people this year? Man.
Yeah, you did. You did because if you hadn't tagged me, that Thanos collection could have went in the garbage.
You're very right. It could have.
The
It
dude
probably would have.
The dude was close to throwing it away, and I went and got it the next day. And I'm still digging figures out there. Like I've got, I think I've got 6 Jokers that I pulled out this weekend.
Oh, that's like $150 piece.
I wish.
For sure. I haven't seen the dial, but it definitely is.
I've seen people selling it for $25 already, so it hasn't been like. But I mean,
Okay,
but arguably, like Thanos has to be one of the top 5 legacy card figures of 22.
Because
Yeah.
Jason said, did you say APOC or did I just speak for you, Jason?
No, I'm definitely saying APOC.
Okay.
Lockjaw.
Yeah, those are the 3 big ones. I would say this year that took off.
A little early for Cosmo. Everyone's hyping him up, but
Yeah, I would say it's a little early.
Yeah, clearly, Thor's Mighty Chariot.
That might. I looked at that beast earlier before when you guys were talking. I'm like, this might be my worst figure of the year.
I'm gonna say Leech and Iceman.
Leech is good. Iceman, nobody's talking about really.
But he's.
I love him. I love him, but it just he hasn't nothing sparked there yet. But I think there's definitely potential for sure.
Well, I mean, like, all right, so real quick, like Empire, garbage, nothing with Legacy. War of the Realm had Surtur, that was about it, but even that was kind of
meh.
Disney Plus didn't have Legacy. X of Swords. It had APOC, had Unis, Leech, Havoc.
Leech and APOC were the
and Iceman. Yeah, and Magneto.
Yeah, but same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really.
He saw play. It's just people didn't run it. Like he saw play on X-Men swap teams.
I never saw him play.
Well, I mean, your team may not have been one that they wanted to swap him in for.
That's true.
You also didn't go to Worlds, Tyler.
That's true. That is fair. That is true.
So like he's in consideration, I think, with Leech, like one of those switch in situational types. But then besides that, we only have the Avengers Forever. It's not like we have a ton. So
Yeah.
No, this is the year I think they really took off and did it really well. Right before the first like 3 sets of legacies, I'm just like, why are you doing this? But they did really good this year, and it's every set that has these now. I'm very excited to see which ones and how they update them because they're doing really good on them.
I also
And we'll talk about that a little later, probably.
I also like that they're now like, you get the legacy card, but I think they all come now with a team up card. Is it both? Not necessarily.
Yeah,
all
it
the time,
is.
The past 2 sets.
Yeah, no.
The past 2 sets.
I don't think it's
Avengers.
Yeah, Avengers Forever and Batman Team Up. The pack comes with a team up card and a legacy card.
So like that's a subtle thing. It doesn't cost them a ton, I don't think, to print a card, but it adds that they obviously haven't really been hyping up. But that's an added bonus to buying a brick. Is hey, now you get a legacy and a team up, and some of the team ups are decent, like pretty good.
Yeah,
but just a little added thing.
Right. So top 3 for sure: Legacy, Thanos, APOC, Lockjaw. The next
and
two:
Cosmo, Leech, and Magneto.
and Iceman.
Probably.
And Iceman.
the other one.
Yeah. Take your pick.
Cosmo for sure if we're counting him.
All right. And then McConnell asked, "How are we feeling about Batman Team Up so far as well?"
This is the first time we actually get to talk about it. Talking about it.
Yeah, we've been talking about it in our group chat, and I don't know if we want to go into like all of what we've seen so far, but how about just
general thoughts?
A general thought, like how are you feeling? Right, a feeling is a word. I am feeling optimistic.
Huh.
I'm feeling like I wish I canceled my pre-order.
Why?
Yeah. I'm
Why?
feeling very underwhelmed.
Yeah.
So far.
I am purely from the fact that we only get 4 figures.
That's
the biggest thing.
That pissed me off. I'm sorry.
Oh
It
yeah,
just
that's
pissed me off.
crazy.
Like that wasn't even like led into. It's unprecedented. We got Wonder Woman 80 that had all of these pieces in it, like all the little things in there. The red whatever, all the little stop signs. And so it's like, no, now we're having, because there's so many, we're having it take the place of a figure.
Well, there is more. There's 50, right?
But they can still just throw that in every
Right.
booster.
I agree they could.
Right. So yeah, you know what?
Yep.
I'm changing my answer, Jason, because I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Is it?
It
was every pack.
Yeah.
Yes, every single pack was only 4. That's really my only negative. Like, I understand the figures. Some of them are real cool that we've seen, and all we've seen is the unboxing at this point. Like, for whoever's listening to this, we've only seen the Scott Porter unboxing outside of like the 1 or 2 we saw early on.
Yeah.
And that was the most shocking when he opened the first one, and it's like, oh, there's 4 figures. Maybe it's just like every once in a while. Every booster is only 4 figures, and then that 5th slot has one of the 57 objects in it. Which I get. That's how they did X of Swords, right? Exactly.
The OP set. The OP set.
The OP set. But but we were paying $20, $35 a booster for that.
Well, so like not only were you paying more per booster for that, but you were also getting participation tarots, participation prizes, extra shots at the grand prizes. So you got a lot more value from your increased cost of X of Swords slop. I am also of the in the camp of it makes no. I would argue that it makes no measurable impact to the bottom line. Well, let's see. Hold on. That's not true because every impact is measurable. It makes no meaningful impact to the bottom line to do 5 figures and just throw the object in the package. Because like for me, because like for us, for most of us on the call here at least, we're going to end up with a shit ton of uncommons. Tylor's not going to buy any of the set anyways. So
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like
the increase or decrease in the amount of cur that I end up with doesn't bother me. But there are enough folks out there that are going to get 4 figures in a pack and not know what to do with the object and not be able to make a team out of a couple of boosters when they probably could have if they had that 9th and 10th figure out of 2 boosters.
oh yeah, it'd be real weird for sealed, right?
Yep.
It's a big So our initial thoughts are the same as you guys, but then thinking about it more, like if one of them just replaced a common in every booster, and there was like that many, there was 10 less commons in a brick. That's not, you're really not losing a ton there. And Dan, you said it doesn't increase cost in a meaningful way, but I would guess that those things are almost as much as a figure to print, I would guess.
So probably, but
so it reduces it by 1/5, 1/6, however you want to look at it, of the actual, not kind of the packaging. Which seems meaningful, but it feels bad.
Well, but then, but to me,
the fact that we're just taking more away and charging more.
Right.
It's just more. It's just taking more and more.
Are they trying to make us feel like it's okay to get 4 figures in a booster so they can just go to that as their new model? Like,
right. Yeah.
So wasn't it originally? It was originally 4 boosters.
But you got more boosters. You got more boosters than a brick.
Right.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want this to become the new norm.
You got it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, and then
as far as figures in the set.
Yeah, then so Tylor,
right.
what I was thinking of something else there.
Okay.
So talking about like, yeah, it is one more figure or one less figure, so it's 20% measurable, right? It's also talking about like, it doesn't cost them any more. If I had to guess, it doesn't cost them any more to make super rares or chases. Then why in the world don't we get guaranteed collation of chases in every brick? And we ended up with these 3 super rare bricks. So, like, I don't think that I have like a positive response to that, right? Like from a business perspective. Because the business...
from a business perspective, where the collation thing is obvious, though.
Yeah, they want you to buy more figure. Or buy
no,
more packs.
that's not what I'm talking about. Is like, you can't put a definite collation on something because then you're going to be held to it. So if you say absolutely a chase a brick, and they don't have the quality control
but they have the quality
boosters we're getting.
They have the quality control to give out multiple, to give set to where we notice a pattern of 3 super rare bricks.
We notice a pattern, but there's no definite, oh yeah, this is yes, there's definitely like, 4 or 5 different patterns, or what's a good, like, different setups of cases or bricks that they set up. However, there's probably a multiple, like 20 or something. And we notice a pattern, this brick comes with a Merlin. Okay, then we know it's going to come with these 3 super rares, typically. And sometimes it's off, sometimes it's on. But if you start saying, oh yeah, every brick, well, you can't guarantee, like, I don't think they can guarantee that now. Because if you have suddenly a brick that doesn't, well, if that happens more often, like right now, you get hit or miss. Some people, you have the arachnite problem with dials messed up, and so you send the email to the whiz kids, and it's hit or miss whether you actually get an answer. Now, I feel like most of the time you do get an answer, and most of the time people get it resolved. But consider that like increasing significantly if you start saying absolutely every case that you get will have a chase in it. Like that just like, I don't know if any of the other games, major games, says that.
So
like you're guaranteed to get this.
So, but they can not say that they cannot say that. They cannot guarantee a chase, but just not have 3 super rare bricks as their one of their models. Just remove that model from the collation.
I don't. That's the other thing, is like, we don't know their quality control. We can probably safely assume that that's just one of their models, like you're talking about. But we also don't know if that's just how things, they did one big run, and for some reason the system put 3 in there. That wasn't the initial intent. Well, They print everything, most of it all at once, right? Like, I don't assume they do a reprint of a set. I assume they just print a shit ton of them.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So, like, there's a lot of unknowns, and so...
Can you get rings where the objects are, or is it just objects? There's rings as well?
It's in a bag.
Well, an object, the ring is an object.
Yeah, but it's not...
not a construct.
Yeah,
it replaces the construct in the booster.
Yeah, just keep in mind, though, the constructs actually have, the little dial. Like, not the dial, but the one hog dial.
Yeah.
It's not like the old ones, the old War of Light ones. They actually have a dial with stats on them. So those actually fit into the booster like it is a figure. But the rings are in a little baggie.
Okay, makes sense.
Hey, real quick, while we're talking about this, the other question on the other mystery, if you will, is the mystery cards.
What about
as of right now, we have no idea how we're getting mystery cards.
Didn't he just pull it in the? Did he pull it in the booster?
No. So Scott did not open a single mystery card. He got the mystery card in the play at home kit. There's one with Shaggy. There's 2, I think, in the mini game. And then he didn't open any others, because he opened the play at home like day 3 or 4, and he's like, "What's this?" Like, he had never seen one before. It wasn't in the legacy or anything like that. It was just, there's 1 in the play at home, 2 in the mini, and there's supposedly 8 in the set. And he didn't get one in his brick that we saw.
Okay, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I guess that is a mystery.
So the question is like, what is the collation on that? Because some of those mystery cards are pretty powerful, pretty, like, not game breaking, but like, if we get better detective pieces, then they could be significantly better. But they do really cool things. Like, it's basically it's a sideline title character, essentially, if you want to think of it kind of like that. But the biggest question mark I had from the unboxing was, well, 1, I had no idea there was 1 in the play at home and 2 in the mini. I guess I'm going to have to get the miniature game now to get those, because the play at home kit doesn't actually say that it's in there. It just says you get the Shaggy card and you get the map. It doesn't actually say it has the mystery, but it did in his. So, but I'm curious, like, okay, are we talking like 1 a case, or is it even like, is it ultra chase level that we have these 8? I wouldn't think it would be, but
probably not.
But he pulled a chase. He pulled a chase Scrappy, and it didn't have a mystery card, so it's not tied to the 8 chases. Unless his was just a a mistake.
Yeah, no idea at this point. All right, well, so that's, I guess, how we're feeling about Batman Team Up.
I am excited about the objects, though. Like, outside of those, I'm excited to see what the Batman ones are.
It's we have the belt, right? We know we have the belt.
We have a belt. We know we're getting a belt, but we don't know what the belt does.
Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't. Yeah, probably like pick a power or something. Yeah, maybe I'm too down on it. Some of the stuff I'm not excited for, but there's definitely some good stuff. Obviously, everybody's excited for the Scrappy Doo meta.
I'm also eager to see what the other rings do.
That's true. Because they changed them a little bit.
We've got 5 of them.
Yeah.
And they all give a power. And so, like, one of them is equipable Mystics, which is pretty good.
Well, that's what the old one did, right? They gave Mystics and Shape Change, I think. So they're similar to the old ones, but they're just a little bit different. I really liked the orange one, which was plasticity, which is what it used to do. It used to give barrier, but now it's when it hits with a close attack after resolutions, you may unequip a hit character and equip that equipment to this character. that can be very good, right?
Mm-hmm.
How does that work? Because this character's equipped. Does the orange drop? Does the orange ring unequip?
It probably does, yeah. Because that's the one reason I really liked it is because it's very thematic for what the orange
Yeah,
character
obviously.
does. So like that's the thing is they just keep. I don't know if it drops. I'd have to look back at the new rules. I think it does.
I'm like 95% sure that it does. If you become equipped with something else, the old one drops.
Yeah.
I just don't know if that changed in the new rules where they like.
That's fair, yeah.
Took that out because new rules makes it where you just absolutely can't unless certain circumstances. But I think it does. I'll double check that. But.
Which ones are we missing? Well, we have not seen any white or black, right?
Which we are not expecting that because.
Okay. Yeah, because there's 49. That makes sense.
We have green, orange, red, indigo, and star sapphire. So we don't have yellow. We don't have blue.
Blue, yep. And we don't have... Colors are hard. Red, we have orange, we have missing yellow, we have green.
Violet? No, violet
blue.
Is star sapphire. Indigo? Blue?
Yellow, no, it's indigo. It is violet. Because indigo is different than violet.
But violet is star sapphire, is it not? Yeah, it is star sapphire.
Oh, you're right. How are we messing this up?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is there only 7 colors?
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Okay, you're right. We're missing. Okay, there's 7 colors. We're missing blue and yellow. Okay.
Blue and yellow.
I'm just enjoying you guys trying to list all the colors and seeing if you guys were going to get to a good.
I'm more hyped about this set now that I'm looking at it. All right.
Fair enough.
Go on.
Fair enough. So Peter Marshfield's got several questions for us. So we're going to rapid fire on his 7 questions here. What was a figure that you were shocked at how well it performed with the return of in-person play? I don't know. We played online so much, right? It's one and the same, right?
Yep.
I mean, I guess the answer is Apocalypse, right? People were expecting it, but maybe not that much.
Right. Yeah. And it wasn't played much online, right?
No, it was.
No.
The weeks leading up to
the triple.
That's true. That's fair.
Yeah, the triple.
Yeah, we didn't play that on there. We held that back.
Well, Jason, you held it back just because you don't play online, really.
I do play some.
Yeah, but not as much. Not as much as some other folks. Not as much as other folks do. Alex, do you have any answer for that? Besides
I
APOC?
think that's a good one. I don't think there was really that big of a change, in my opinion, between in-person play and
online.
Like, there wasn't a lot that I was like, "Oh wow, that's shocking." Like I didn't think about that. But it's also
you've already seen it all.
It's really hard to differentiate between Nats and Worlds at this point too, because Worlds was vastly different because we had a set come out in between.
Yeah.
That changed a lot of it. So.
What figure were you surprised by underperforming with in-person play?
I mean, in talking through this episode, I think it's like Magneto and Iceman and maybe Leech.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I expected more of them, and they're really not showing up.
Leech got top 8 at Worlds.
Yeah,
he did. There still hasn't been a bunch of him out there, I think.
Mm-hmm.
People are waffling back and forth on whether they like him or don't.
It's really Iceman for me.
Yeah,
I think he's really good. People are sleeping on him.
And there's a few pieces that I'm like, I guess they're older now. Some like pieces from Empire. Like, I know like Jalen played Captain Marvel for a little bit, but there wasn't a ton of people that played him near the end.
He's so hard to fit with the prime slot.
Outside of Scientist, and then Dan, when you played him, like Demon in Armor, it fell off a little bit near the end.
Yeah.
Venom Wolverine.
I never. Yeah, I never played Demon in Armor. PJ did, but
No, you played it in that one tournament, didn't you?
no, that was Harry.
He played.
That's right.
Yeah, Green Lantern, Blackheart stuff.
Yeah.
That's right. I thought it was similar, but yeah, I'm thinking of PJ's version. But yeah, I think it's like the older 2022 figures.
2021. Yeah, I'm with you.
No, 20. Late 2021, early 2022.
Right.
Was he just leaving it to 2022 pieces?
No, he was just saying in general throughout the year.
Oh. Yeah, there's a lot of pieces, like much older pieces that you'd be surprised that, oh yeah, I forgot that piece existed. Like animals. Like losing Grodd, it just made them just fall off.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they're that bad, though.
They're not that bad, but they're not that good.
Because
they top 8 in the world.
Because they top 16.
We're top 16? Okay.
Yeah. What keyword do you feel defined meta play for this rotation? Or was it non-themed?
I mean, there's a poll later on that'll, for the rotation, that would be like this year, right? Since last rotation.
Yep.
It's July.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be a toss-up. Man, it's so hard. I think
it was definitely Horseman.
I think Spider-Man jumps to mind because everybody's building with that for a while. Cosmic, obviously. And then Scientist. There's a lot of good Scientist teams that were played. And then X-Men are probably...
For me, it's simply X-Men defined meta play.
Really?
Absolutely.
I think mine, if I had to pick one, would be Spider-Man Family, just because of how, obviously it's kind of cheating.
Right. No, it was just X-Men.
Yeah, for me it was Celebrity, like Celebrity / Spider-Man Family. Like that was mostly though, because that was right when rotation happened. Because we got Disney Plus when Disney Plus rolled out, and then rotation was right after.
It's crazy because the only reason you're even mentioning that is because of Marvella, right? If Marvella wasn't a piece, we would not be talking about Celebrity.
Maybe.
Saki, Scarlet Witch.
I know, but nobody has played just Celebrity.
But that's because it was.
Celebrity.
But that's But I think the thing is I played a variation of Celebrity, but I think
yeah.
But the thing is we've talked about this Spider-Man Family. All you bring in is Mary Jane and Marvella. That's really the only two main pieces. If you're like, oh, I can sneak in Spider-Man Family, well, Marvella's really great, and so is Mary Jane, even though she's lost a lot of her edge. Sure, they make them in the Spider-Man Family, and thus you can add some more Spider-Man Family pieces. But even then, when you were looking at Spider-Man Family pieces, like when I was, it's like the Mary Jane and Marvella. That's kind of it. There were not a lot of other Spider-Man Family pieces I wanted to bring in.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. It's really just the chases, pretty much. There's like a few one-offs, but not very many.
And they're kind of the equivalent, in my opinion, of the Dooms, where it's just like you don't really want to play those chases. Like they're not like meta-defining yet, not anymore. Obviously, 76 was for a hot minute. But it's not like, you're getting a Scarlet Witch or Sarkarian Iron Man. You're getting someone that fits everyone together, and they're okay. Like, all right. But if I could switch them out somehow, I absolutely would. Like, in most cases, outside of maybe 76. Or if you're building around Pharaoh to be your taxi. Like, they're kind of very situational in my
I really like Miles.
I know you do.
Yeah. Yeah, Miles is pretty great.
Yeah.
All right, next question.
All right, next question. With the changes to equips, what figures do you potentially see a return to meta play? Is Blackheart plus Soul Sword and Death Metal Wonder Woman sound as gross as it could be? Yes, it does.
Yes. I think Blackheart got helped a lot, mainly with the that piece, Soul Sword. I think it helps Iron Man, but he's not going to be seeing a return to play. I can't. It's just I don't know. It's hard to see how it's going to affect it. it helps bigger pieces, right? Like more point cost pieces, because I don't know. I feel like it guaranteeing equip on a 150 point piece is such a big deal. So it helps them a little bit. But I don't know. It's hard to see that's going to affect things.
Yeah. Which piece did you have the most fun playing this year? Even if you didn't do well with it, or rather, what figure do you think will become a story figure for your game nights? Like, remember that one time a medic rolled a crit hit and KO'd Thanos with an object?
Uh-huh.
I had a chip KO my Thanos this year. It was not fun. A chip thingy, the construct.
Mine was absolutely Mary Jane. I cannot tell you how many figures I KO'd throwing objects with paparazzi. It was crazy. I feel like she was like a top like it's crazy how often that mattered.
Anybody else? Okay.
I don't know. Like, just for fun, that Super Rare Hulk was pretty fun to play the other day.
That was
Happy
fun.
to know Hulk.
The Avengers Forever Hulk Super Rare. Yeah, he was pretty fun to play.
Yeah, Jason pulled it in just his packs that he bought off the shelf and wrecked our faces with it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was like that. Yeah, I pulled him and Black Panther and Doctor Strange and just made a 300-point team and rolled with it. It was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
That clap power was fun to use.
And a different kind of version of fun. A couple times, like in this Silver Age World event, Merlin was actually surprisingly fun.
Oh my god.
Just being able to say, like, yeah, no, sorry, bro, you're out of free actions.
If there's a least fun piece, it would be Merlin for me.
I will say, like, that Silver Age team I played was one of the more fun teams I've played in a long time. Because it was APOC, Merlin, and, like, Starro. And being able to play Starro again with all of that nonsense with the other bystanders, that was a lot of fun. Like,
oh man, making Pogs in Apocalypse was fun as hell.
yeah, if I wanted to make Tylor happy and not annoy him by saying Merlin, I would have said APOC for sure. Like, it was just fun because those Pogs are great, and I love Pog teams. So
yeah, it was just a Pog factory.
It was good times.
I don't think I need to. I mean, I think everybody knows my answer, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Harry Leland.
No. I mean, I tell you, Thanos scratched the itch for a tentpole that just has not been scratched in a long time.
Okay.
And it just felt really good, guys. 2022 was just that. He was just that man. He was that guy.
I think our listener... Oh, go ahead.
I feel like you're making Glidey Daddy sad.
You
You remember when you were in love with them? And then
I did really.
It's like the meme of Toy Story where I don't want to play with you anymore.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
That was more 2021 though. Was the Gladdy play?
That was early. It was early 20. It was early 22. It was the last time that I played him for sure.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, I was just, no terrain. The terrain didn't matter. I got to play on Hoth. I got to play on, what is it? What's the Hoth?
Hoth.
Yeah, I got to play on Hoth like I've always wanted. Oh, boy, it just felt great. It just really did. It just really, really did.
I'm just happy for our listeners that, their alcohol consumption is going to go way down in 2023 since they're no longer having to take a shot every time you said Thanos during an episode.
Yeah. And that's fine. I get it. You probably won't have to hear me talk about Thanos much more at all, because
until you switch to the mission point 1.
I doubt it. I highly doubt it. So no, it was fun while it lasted, guys. I had a great time playing Thanos, and definitely the most fun I've had playing HeroClix in a long time. So, favorite story outside of Clix that you consumed? Example: WWE and the departure of Vince McMahon. Elden Ring takes Game of the Year. God of War Ragnarok has a good story. Dan can't stop playing Marvel Snap.
No, definitely Marvel Snap for me. I can't stop playing it either.
Tell you, this Elon Twitter stuff is keeping me entertained for a while.
Yeah, I think I could almost have a category for like every facet. Alex, why don't you go? Because I do have a rather thought out answer for this one.
Oh, I'm not coming up with anything. That's the problem. I'm trying to think of like what I enjoyed in 2022, like story wise, and I'm not really sure. Maybe that's tough.
So
yeah.
In the world of I'll tell you my thought. I got a list. So in the world of technology and that sort of sphere, right? The Twitter stuff, along with Tylor, I agree, is very keeping me much entertained. But in the world of closer to my work, the local power company is bringing fiber optic internet to all of its customers. So
Nice.
that means I'll have fiber optics at the beginning of 2024. So it's just nice to see plans that you put in place, moved out here to the country, that sort of thing. Just all those things come together.
What company is it, Dan?
Kinergy, but they're subbing it out to a company called Connexion. So it's not
maybe I can get in on that then.
Yeah, if you have Kinergy, yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can sign up on the website and pre-order it. So would recommend doing that.
Nice.
So that was one of them. This is more turning into a favorite story. I don't know, more of just favorite things that have happened, I guess. In the world of my tractors, I got a lot more confident in my ability to repair and work on those ancient things. So that was really fun. Maybe not most exciting to a lot of other folks, but it definitely is to me. So, let's see what else. The world of world of games, right? Mobile games. Marvel Snap has definitely taken its time from me over Clash of Clans.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, I've played Clash of Clans for a long time, and I play a lot more Snap than Clash of Clans these days. So
you gotta keep wonging it.
I do. I got Wong and Mystique, and I'm loving it. But I didn't do much video game wise this year. But I don't know, WWE. It feels like a lot of things happened great this year that just got to come back, right? Like the world got a little closer to being normal again. But albeit different. So Peter mentions WWE and the departure of Vince, but like WWE came back this year, right? Like,
yeah,
like
back to
in person, big stadium shows and all that other stuff. We got together again for the Royal Rumble, which we didn't do in 21.
And WrestleMania, yeah.
Well, I think we got together for WrestleMania last year. What
did we?
The Rumbles in the first part of the year, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we didn't get together for the Rumble, I don't think, but we did get together for WrestleMania last year, or at least we would have. So, like, overall it's been a really good year. I was gonna say Alex, do you have a list yet? Because I don't want to come up with my. I'm talking a really long time about my list.
I stopped looking.
I was gonna say for 2 years, starting in 7 days. In the 7 days from now, or 8 days from now, it had been 2 years since I restarted my weight loss journey, and I've lost and maintained off 65 pounds in the past 2 years. So I've been really stoked about that. I think it's the keeping it off that's hard for a lot of folks. And I get it. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm really glad we're doing this because it's making me feel like a lot better about 2022. Final question: what was each member's favorite beverage that was consumed in relation to a Clix event this year? Jason, I know ours. we might be the only ones with an answer.
I have an answer. Unless you're like, I guess I have two answers, but I guess I didn't drink at the Nats, so.
No, I don't think you did. What's? All
right, you guys go and do yours. That's fine.
Jason, it's the mezcal, right?
Mezcal has to be it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Margaritas are a close second.
I was going to ask about the margaritas at that one Mexican restaurant we went to.
Yeah, that was a good margarita. It was pretty good. Massive margarita.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the mezcal was pretty good.
Yeah, I want to say the mezcal from Mexico that made me or do my first alcohol purchase from the internet. So thanks, to all of our friends from Mexico for bringing that up to Worlds. Yeah, that's definitely high on my list. So
mine is so Worlds. I found myself out at the pool with the Eagles cast and a bunch of the Canadians, and the Chicago people, so like Nate White, Patrick Frazier, and all them. And so Pat brought a lot of different drinks, and so did the Eagles guys. Bring a lot of different drinks and traded and whatnot. And so I don't drink a lot of beer. Never had the taste for it. And Patrick, he said, "Here, man, I got you something." He's like, when I told him that, he's like, "You should try this." And it was it's called a milkshake ale, like a milkshake IPA. It's basically like it says on here, milkshake style double India pale ale. So I tried one. It was like strawberries and cream, and it was really good. It's like a sweet type beer. It was really good. So much so that I actually sent him a message like 2 weeks ago saying, "Hey man, like I've looked all over locally, and it's just the South isn't hip like those people up in Chicago. I couldn't find anything." And he's like, "Here man, I'll get you the hookup." And so he sent me a bunch of it. The stuff that
nice.
he gave me before, because it came from a brewery up in the Chicago area. So he sent me some, and I just got it yesterday actually. So I drank one last night. I'm actually drinking one now, blueberry double marbles, which is blueberry and vanilla, and a pale ale, and it's actually pretty good. Like it's one I could see myself drinking, but more often. But that was the first time I had a beer that I was like, okay, like I had, like Blue Moons and stuff that I'm like, okay, I'll sip this, but probably won't finish it. But this was the first one that I was like, okay, yeah, I could do more than sip. I won't be sitting there chugging them, but because I'd probably, go in a diabetic coma or something if I had that much sugar. But it was enough to where it's like, okay, if I'm not getting like a cocktail or something, like I could see myself drinking these. So that was the more, that was my favorite thing that I consumed, and that was at Worlds. So.
And I would say, yeah, and the last thing I would add is my wife and Sam and I discovered Michelob Ultra this year. So that seems pretty simple, or maybe if you're a little more blue-collar type folks, I know it's a little more associated with that style of folks. But, yeah, we had some folks from Sam's work introduced her to Michelob Ultra, and it's been one of our favorites so far. So, all right, Kurt Thomas, are any legacy cards seen so far in BTU meta-worthy? Well, we've only seen one, and it's the Lex Joker duo from World's Finest, and the answer is maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Like it falls into the. It's not a definite. Like there's three categories.
Definitely interesting.
Yeah, there's a absolutely meta like Cosmo, right? We're all saying Cosmo is going to be meta because he's just so good. And then there's a Thor's Mighty Chariot, which is absolutely not. This is never going to become meta. This falls in the middle of, you know what? I could see Lex Joker duo, with the combination of what he does and what he does with the, like you bringing in the Wonder Woman 80 Lex Luthor if it dies. Like there's some combos there that are interesting, and if someone can really maximize that, maybe. But it's, if we were doing a tier maker today on it, it'd probably be like C tier or something. It's not for me up there with, oh yeah, everyone's going to be playing it.
Right.
And a lot of that also has to do with like keywords. Like DC is still just like one set at this point. You have Wonder Woman 80 and then this upcoming set. There's not a ton of keywords out there. It only is named keywords for Lex Luthor and Joker.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Name keywords is rough.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
Which I hope we talked about the rules. If they're going to change the rules, I hope they add something for named keywords. I feel like they need to. Like just like still have all the benefits of the generic, but just add a little something to make named keywords just, neater somehow. I don't know how you do it, but
yeah. I agree.
Yeah. I like I'm picking up what you're putting down with that, Alex.
Like if you say, okay, you can have a +4 to map instead of a +3. If you go named, but then you couldn't have all these name cheats. So I guess that depends. Yeah.
Right.
There'd be a balancing act with that.
Gotcha. Rob Doan, what X-Men team is going to rock the meta with the inclusion of Tin Swords storyline, OP, grand prizes, APOC, and Genesis? Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like we've talked about this a few episodes. Like, there's just, and I've talked about this in our chat too. It's like there's the team where we're all expecting, oh yeah, this crazy X-Men team with Scarab or Sky Tyrants or Cain, Iron Man, and it's just like, yeah, that's probably going to exist. I'm thinking like in the Florida event, there probably won't be a ton, in my opinion. I feel like it's gotten to the point where it's like either people are just going to be so building against it that it's just not as many people play it.
I don't know.
You could just throw on the best meta figures on an X-Men team at this point. So
Alex, let's segue this in with Tyler Green's question. Tyler Michael Green, if someone is not going to Florida, where are you planning to play in Florida?
Me?
Yeah, and me. I'll answer, but you first.
X-Men? No. I'm still leaning on Avengers. Either Avengers or Soldier with X-Men swap is where I'm currently at. I'm really playing around with X-Men swap because we got all those Avengers Forever pieces, and they kind of help complete the puzzle of what Avengers was missing, like a very cheap leadership, which Avengers really didn't have before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Black Panther could fill that hole very easily. That's why I switched for Nats. I went with like Fantastic Four swap with like a bunch of Avengers pieces, is because I didn't have like that leadership. I didn't. I had to play without leadership on one of my teams in like a Brad event or something. And having that 25 point there and a bunch of other pieces now that we have for Avengers that just comes with leadership, like that Doctor Strange, the one that creates the astral. Like there's a lot of pieces now that kind of fill the void. Hope Summers, I think, has it too. Like all of those fill the void of leadership, which is what Avengers was missing. So
Yeah.
I'm really focused on that because I'm taking this event as like it's a pretty significant event, but I also want to have fun at it, and I don't want to be one of those guys that brings just like the cookie cutter. Here's an X-Men team. I want to have some fun and play figures I haven't necessarily played in a while. So.
I can tell you my team. I am planning on playing a Racco, so Genesis, Swordbearer, Saki with the Cloak, Sky Tyrant with Pog, Venom, Magneto, Death Metal Wonder Woman with the Soul Sword, Commissioner, 2 Moloids, and Plastic Man Objects.
Pog is surprising. I mean,
That's the Giant Reach 3 one.
I know what it does. I just maintain my comment.
I mean, it makes sense for Sky Tyrant. Like it's got Giant Reach 3, and he has Quake, right? So
Yeah, that everything you're saying is true.
like that makes a ton of sense. Dan, you could almost argue Dan's team is like one of those borderline X-Men teams. It's not technically X-Men.
No,
but
it is type X-Men.
No, it's not. I'm not playing with APOC. It's a Racco.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those technicalities. It's like it's still the cheating that gets all the great meta figures on one team, but it technically doesn't take that extra step to get the swap in there.
Yeah, I guess my thing is like I would play with Barrier, but I just know that I'll end up losing to Jubilee, so it's not worth a shit. And so like I could probably just battle through the other barriers that may show up, right? And maybe hope that they run into the Jubilees and I don't. And just go have fun and just rock it out. That's kind of my plan.
And I've said this to a few people, and I'll say it on here because once again, transparency, right? That's what we're all about.
Yeah.
If you're building an X-Men swap team, and you're using the Genesis and APOC, find a way to just freaking play Dr. Thing, like because the hardest matchup you're gonna have is a mirror team, like period. That's going to be probably one of the hardest matchups you're going to have. If you win map, you can ensure they will not have a Jubilee, and then you can get rid of Dr. Thing because he gets X-Men. So you could swap him out for another 75-point piece because he has Brute. Brute is the keyword that makes him do all of this.
Yeah.
So like it's a freebie, and if you lose map, who cares? You swap him anyway. Like it's one of those like you don't worry about any of the other dooms. He's literally there to say, I win map. I'm choosing you don't get to bring in that Jubilee. You got to swap first. All right, you swapped. All right, see ya. Goodbye, Dr. Thing. Bring something in. It's free. It just makes the most sense. And it's probably the one time Dr. Thing is going to see the highest play he should be able to see. But, like, in my head, it's a no-brainer if you're trying to do all of that because it helps. You still have to win map. I get it. But it's still something that's like, okay, that could be a game changer if you're going against a mirror team and you win map. Because otherwise, if you win map, you go to, a place that's good for Jubilee, you're also going to be facing a Jubilee. So,
yeah,
you'd have to it just makes sense in my head. But
I agree with you, Alex. I think that's a good way to look at it. And then Emmanuel's question. We kind of talked about earlier. And then Andrew Wilson, we do plan on doing an equipment tier maker. It is still on our list, we promise. But it'll be in the new year.
Yeah, we didn't really plan on taking the 5 weeks. It was kind of like a combination of Thanksgiving, people got sick, and then it's like, Batman came out like with the pre-release. So we were just kind of hyped up most of that week.
Yeah, I mean, it was just there was just
once.
there was just really not a lot to talk about either.
Well, we did have a list of like, here's all the tier makers we need to do at some point. I think we were just kind of
maybe burn out a little bit. Maybe a little burnout.
This is the type of season, and I've emphasized this. This is the slower time of season where we, recoup and then refocus when events start back up. And this isn't something that's happened since COVID. This has always been a thing. It's always been.
Yeah, but we always had the hope and promise of Q1 WKOs, and we just don't have that right now.
You know what? I need to go back and see how long do we actually have WKOs?
Since 2015? No.
So 4 years?
2016.
So 3 years.
They
They stopped in like 2019.
No, we had it.
Starting
We had it.
2020.
We had it Q1 of 2021. Or sorry, we had him Q1 of 2020.
So like 16, 17, 18, 19. So 4 years.
At least, right? But there was also some bigger WKOs, I think, before that time. I remember the first one that I judged was... No, what year did UXM come out?
UXM, that was...
Yeah, 2016. Yeah, 2016.
2016.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the thing is a lot of people are like, well, we've always had WKOs, and that might be because it's newer players. Keep in mind, it was only 4 years.
No,
This
I mean,
isn't
but we had...
This isn't like a staple from, like, oh,
It
yeah,
is, but...
Back in Slosh, we had it.
But Alex,
We
you
were
got to
running
remember
out a lot of
for...
rock events at the time.
But even so, right? Like, we don't have rock events either. So, like, yeah, in 2015, 2014, 2013, you had the rise of rock events, and they filled a big void, which caused the WKOs to come into fruition. So,
all we're saying is they should continue. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Do you disagree with that?
No, I'm not. I'm saying, like...
Well,
I
then
feel
what's your point?
My point is I feel like people are, like, almost insulted.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's good. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
yeah, but... Okay. I just don't feel like people are looking at the whole picture of, like, okay, well, it took a lot of rock events to build up the tournament scene more, I feel like, to make it more widespread. And then maybe that's when WizKids felt more comfortable with WKOs because you had a lot of stores promoting events and like bigger crowds at stores. But if you looked at probably the win right now, and
Are you saying they shouldn't do WKOs?
I'm not saying they shouldn't. I am saying.
Well, then who are you arguing for?
I'm saying I understand their hesitation. I'm saying right now, if you looked at the win and they were pulling statistics from stores, there's probably not nearly as many stores running events with a decent amount of turnout. And
That's because they don't have any events running.
That's because no one's running events also.
That's because there's nothing to play for. There's no monthly LEs.
No.
There's no...
COVID also killed out a lot of stores, like, period.
No.
All I'm trying to say is that it feels like, you know, WKOs are reliant on stores. I think that's the thing. Is like, are all the stores back?
I don't understand what you're saying at all.
I don't guess I get it either.
I'm saying you're making it seem like, oh yeah, just throw WKOs out there, but it's not like they just...
Yes.
Okay, that's a cost.
Mm-hmm.
So
and they have to have the stores buy in on that.
They will. It might be new ones. It might take some work to get new ones, but...
It takes some work. Maybe they're working on that. Like, it's so many assumptions is what I'm saying. Just turn on WKOs. Just make it happen. That's easy to say.
That's it, right? So here's the thing, right? There are so many... You've got the same thing they did before. Look at who's buying clicks. Look at who's holding events in the win. Same as before.
That's what I'm trying to say. There's like I have a feeling it is significantly lower than what it was before.
Then announce it.
It used to be that is like, oh, you're gonna WKO. You have to have, it was always estimation. This amount of events, you'd have to be doing it regularly.
Okay. How about this, Alex?
Mm-hmm.
Let's hold up to the promise that they gave us in Gen Con and just tell us that WKOs are done. That we're not going to have WKOs in Q1.
Okay.
Or tell us that they're working on it.
Did they say point blank WKOs are coming back in Q1?
I don't think so.
No.
Or did we make a lot of assumptions because they said tournaments were coming back?
No one's assuming anything. We're saying they should do it.
We're saying that they should tell us an update on WKO's ASAP.
I agree. I think us individually agrees with that. I'm saying a lot of people have a tendency to say, oh, so-and-so saying this, I'm going to assume we're going to have this. And we make assumptions, and then when it doesn't happen, and we haven't heard things, people get mad over assumptions they created themselves.
I have not heard any assumptions.
I mean, we all had an argument this morning that we were very frustrated that hadn't happened yet. And I think it's because we all expected it to happen in Q4.
No. Well, yeah, I have an expectation that it should happen. WizKids should do it. It doesn't mean that I have an expectation that they will do it, but I will be disappointed if they don't do it, because they should do it.
In your opinion, yes.
That is everything that comes out of my mouth is my opinion. That is true.
So, here we go. Looking ahead, I'm looking at the article of the presentation from Gen Con. It says a rededication to organized play.
Mm-hmm.
It's been since August. That's five.
With no updates.
That's 8 plus 4. That's 4 months with no update.
Yeah,
and that was after they had promised more transparency and communication.
Yeah,
that one guy was the one that was really promising. That the guy that took over as CFO,
COO.
I don't care who did the representative of WizKids said it.
Yeah, I don't care who did the promising.
I know. I feel like I'm not countering what you're saying. I was more explaining. Like, I feel like he was the one that was really pushing it, because he's like, I'm back, and he's like, one thing I want to emphasize is more blah 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 blah. I feel like I remember that from the thing at Nats, like the presentation, to where he was pushing that more. Not saying anything counter like, oh, it's his fault. It's just I'm stating what I remember. That's all.
That's fine.
I've said, and you could probably roll the tapes, I've said for years, WizKids has needed a better social media presence than they've had, significantly. Like, way more. But they haven't. That's fine. I like to assume that they have reasons why they do certain things the way that they do.
I agree with that.
I'm optimistic, but I'm also, like, realistic. Like, it takes the way that they have, from what we understand, the way that they do things with creating, like, things 2 years in advance, it just takes, they are very much a slow-moving company. And we want them to uncharacteristically act out of character for them. I shouldn't have said it that way. We want them to be something that they have never been. And they should be. It's in their best interest. But at the same time, that's kind of like asking, like, you know, don't worry, I'm going to be with this person because they're going to change. And, like, hoping they're always going to change. And then they might just not ever change. Like,
I think it's criticizing them when they do things incorrectly.
Right, but I think all I'm trying to say is that I feel like it creates undue stress on ourselves. That we have slowly created, because we see all the cool things that, like, Marvel Snap, we set our expectations so high because we're looking at different games and whatnot, and then we set ourselves up for disappointment.
I don't think
doesn't happen.
I don't think our expectations are high. I think we have expectations that are reasonable, and then they should continue organized play this year. I think that is not a hard ask. It is not unreasonable. It is expectation that we as the community have, who have propped up the game for the last 3 years. And if they don't do it, we should be vocal and we should be disappointed.
Sure.
Okay, we don't disagree.
I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to make people. I'm trying to emphasize the more realistic part, trying to be a little bit more showing the other side, like what my expectations are of the company, and like why I could see their hesitation. I'm a type of person that tries to understand everybody's point of view and why hasn't WizKids made the things we've talked about?
Yeah,
why haven't they been?
I can't empathize, and I can come up with a ton of reasons, a lot of what you've said, but I don't think that they're acceptable reasons, and so I will continue to voice my disappointment.
Yep, you're right. All right, I want to move us on to poll results.
Okay. All right, I have it pulled up. I do.
Yeah, you should maybe sculpt of the year. What do you think? What?
Just let's build it up. This end of the year polls. This is a big deal.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Continue.
This is the end of the year polls that we do every year.
It's a big deal.
It's a big.
Biggest polls
I've
of the
heard it's
year.
a big deal. Yeah, biggest polls of the year. Yeah, we're excited. It's always interesting to see the results. We got good turnout this year. I think there was over 100 answers or
Votes.
submissions. I don't know, votes. Yeah, in every poll. So some polarizing stuff. We're excited.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, I'm not going to read on some of these longer ones. I don't think I'm going to read out all of the choices.
Yeah.
So, Sculpted of the Year, the winner by 1%, Arachnite.
Yeah, by one vote. If you click on him, he got 24 and Human Torch got 23. Which is impressive. I agree. I voted for Arachnite.
Yeah.
Arachnite. I mean,
Human Torch.
I think Arachnite. I like the aesthetic of Arachnite better. Like Human Torch is pretty impressive. I'm surprised at how far the next. So the third place was Venom Magneto with I think eight votes.
8%. Yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't think it was that good. I thought Iron Man would be higher up. I like and Captain America, but I guess I'm biased because I put these options here. So obviously, I think they were up there. Yeah, you guys agree, disagree? Were these your two favorites? Arachnite was mine.
Yeah, I liked Arachnite. I mean, obviously liked Iron Man a whole lot, but not enough. Not sculpt wise, not over the other ones.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm the type where I can admire art for art, right? I'm not, not for other reasons. And Arachnite is a good piece of art.
He is. He's very, very cool.
Oh wait, and he's a super good fucking dial too, but that wasn't the purpose of this poll. So
true. That was true.
Is there any that didn't make the list even when people added it? That you were like, oh, that should have been, a mention.
Oh
well,
my
I made
gosh.
the list, so I don't think so.
Oh my goodness, Alex. Alex, you broke the rules of the poll.
It says on there you can add your own choice to this.
No. There's the next one. You broke the rules.
What was the rules?
Oh, I did. I forgot to.
I didn't put the polls.
The next is Object of the Year, and there's one addition by Alex Coos.
I did forget. I let people do it on this one. I didn't say it.
Right? Yeah. Object of the Year.
Just real quick.
The
Sculpt of the Year.
Go
I
ahead.
almost added Peepers as an option, but I didn't because people would vote for it just for the memes.
Yeah, I like that. But no, Alex added the Angler. The Angler
He was the only vote.
The Angler did not get released in 2022.
Oh no, Adam Cole voted for it. Oh,
You're right.
I'm deleting it. Deleted.
Yeah. So, but overwhelmingly, Cloak of Levitation.
81% of the vote. Cloak.
Yeah. There is hardly a figure that does not benefit from the cloak.
That is true. Okay, and obviously I've taken some heat on this object before. I've always said it was a pretty solid object. It was an A object, but it was probably going to see play more on like a support piece than on a main piece. And so in a hypothetical world where Zakarian Iron Man does not exist, do you think this is a similar poll?
Yeah, I think so. Because there are a lot of pieces that need. I mean, like I played Cloak on Thanos.
Oh, I didn't vote on this poll. I'm voting for Red Wing. Red Wing doesn't have any votes. That's crazy. Red Wing's so good.
Yeah, like I mean, I played Cloak on Thanos, so yeah, there's just a lot.
You have played Cloak on Thanos.
I made top 4 at Worlds, Cloak on Thanos.
To be fair, I did Angler because I was reading this more of meta object of the year, as in like what object made the most meta impact this year.
That's
That's how I read it.
Yeah.
That's
I also see the poll twice for some reason. I don't know why that happens.
Yeah, I don't either.
I voted for Wedwing.
Then that's fine.
But it's got to be Cloak. This year, Cloak was everywhere. I think a large part of that was current Iron Man. I would say about 80% of the time it was played on him. But it's a really good object, right? Flight, sidestep. It's
plastic
solid.
booby.
Yeah, true.
I think the primary reason is because all the good swords didn't become legal until like October, November.
That could be true too. I think Soul Sword is gonna take over.
Yeah, Soul Sword I think would be way high. Like we just didn't get any offensive objects in like Disney Plus didn't have any except for like
kind of Red Wing,
kind of Darkhold if you consider like Outwit to be offensive.
Yeah, but nobody plays Darkhold unless it's on Scarlet Witch, or you get it for free with MJJ, right?
Or
Nobody's
like
paying
Scarab. For it. Yeah, like you pay for it with like and play with Scarab to get like.
Even then, it's switched in on a ruler team.
Right, but we didn't get offensive ones until X of Swords, and then that one was only legal for Worlds, and then those swords weren't good. Like those weren't the good ones. Like the better swords were in the organized play, and that really didn't come legal until like October, November, late. So like Soul Sword doing 14%, that's pretty good considering it hasn't seen any major play yet. It's all just been
and it's probably the best object on Arachnite, who's going to be played a lot. It's going to true.
And you can argue like there's a lot of other swords that will probably maybe not surpass Cloak, but make it a lot closer. Like Dan, you mentioned Pog. I mean, that sword is pretty good. Skybreaker is...
Yeah, no votes for Skybreaker.
Yeah, like, even just straight up Warlock, the one with just plasticity and shape change. That's hard to say because obviously we still got the Carnage symbiote, but obviously rotation hits, that's going to be better. So that's why, like, this one is a little harder of a question because it's basically what is the best Disney Plus object? Because the X of Swords ones just hasn't had their time to shine yet.
Right.
So I can agree with that. I kind of interpreted it a little bit different of which was, in your opinion, the best object in the meta, not just from the year, which I interpreted it wrong.
I get it.
I read the rules that I posted.
I just had to give you a hard time because you didn't.
Oh no, it's duly. It's well deserved.
All right. Keyword of the year.
50% of the vote going to X-Men.
I feel like I don't agree with this. I don't think X-Men was played as much this year as other things.
I think here's the thing, right? It didn't remember it wasn't theme team of the year.
That's true.
It was keyword of the year is how it was worded. So just as a reminder, right? X-Men, at least in our world, right? X-Men second at Nats, via Jubilee, right?
Yeah, well, one Nats.
The Scarlet Witch, Psyche Iron Man.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch, Psyche Iron Man. So Celebrity was at 27%. Remind you, it's in second place. So Worlds, Jubilee on both sides of top two. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, it's Maggot's got second. At Worlds, the very powerful pieces, lots of great pieces.
Yeah, but if you're looking at pieces of the year, it's like Scarlet Witch, Iron Man, right? That's Celebrity.
Well, this goes back to like Alex's interpretation of what was the overall best keyword of the year, not the ones that were released this year. So that's more figure specific.
Yeah, this one's a trickier one because of keyword of the year. This one is more in the meta, not like.
I feel like
you can argue like Fantastic Four is not even on this list.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like this is recency bias. People are looking forward and be like, "Oh, X-Men is the thing," and it's in their head. You know what I mean?
X-Men has been the thing.
Well, no, it hasn't. It hasn't.
Yeah.
It hasn't. It made splashes like what it wasn't. Was it this year or the last year that it was last year. Matt Ventura won with something. Like, someone did really well in the HeroClix for Huntington's event.
So
last year, I think.
2021, Brad Broyles gets second place with X-Men, with Maggots, and the Lila, right before she retired. 2021 unofficial Bradcast Worlds, Caleb Reddick, X-Men theme team wins.
2021.
That's 2021. So also the event that I won was the first release of Rise and Fall. Because you got to remember the Florida event, right? Rise and Fall hadn't came out, and Lila just retired. So that was the X-Men lull. But then the event I won at Huntsville was the first time for Rise and Fall, right? And there was like 4 teams in the top 8. I beat Easton that day to keep his X-Men theme team from winning. But second place at a larger event, the Clixed Off Classic in 2021.
This is all 2021.
Let me get there. Just let me get there. Let me tell the story.
Okay.
So
yeah, but we don't need a breakdown of all the things though.
So the rest of 21 X-Men, right? 22, you have Az winning the online event with Monsters, but it has Venom Wolverine, Venom Magneto, and then.
So real quick, Tyler,
X-Men.
I think what you're missing, I think, is there's the big black hole of Thanos. Like,
yeah, that's surprising to me too.
Springtime into Nats, like March to July, was really the big Thanos black hole, and people just forget that existed. Like PJ's event, Crampton won that, right, with Thanos?
Correct.
Yeah, Summer Scott.
And
that was all Thanos.
And then Matty G was second. I'm looking it up with Fantastic Four. So
yeah, Fantastic Four dominated the first part of this year, probably the first third.
But that could also be a bit bad interpretation of the question, right? Like Fantastic Four, it's all old. None of it came out in 2022. So I could see why like Fantastic Four didn't make the list, because you're thinking, oh, I mean, it's probably better than Cosmic in my opinion. But I could see why, like, celebrity, if you really think of the life of Sarkarian Iron Man and Scarlet Witch, it's pretty short when it comes to the year. Like,
when did it come out?
Well, Disney Plus came out in June.
Oh,
and then,
that's true.
So it's like, okay, we didn't have anything really like some national tournament. Sure, people won with that. The UK Nationals. You won with the Sarkarian Iron Man and whatnot, right? The Fantastic Four version, I can't remember.
Yeah, that's right.
So like he had a similar version, and then like Worlds, obviously, but like that's like a 3-month span, and it is like you said, recency bias. Thanos had such a big black hole for like 4 months, 5 months, if you will, where like it was winning consistently. That's why it had to be nerfed twice, right?
2 nerfs, yeah.
Like it didn't go on the watch list just because we were hyping it, and WizKids doesn't like Dan. Like it was winning events like consistently. So I kind of agree with like X-Men being so big. That doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. But that's one man's opinion.
But that might be people are thinking about it now. X-Men is huge now, and it's something that's just been continuing to grow. It hasn't fallen off. Like rotation hit, and they lost. What, Dark Phoenix? Like I think that Lila and Dark Phoenix is like, oh no, and it's like, nope, never mind. Things are building back up. X-Men never really went away. And there was a lull, I feel like, for a little bit with X-Men because X of Swords was previewed so early and we got it so late. So like not everyone was on the X-Men train again. Like they sort of were, but it fell off, and they were like, let's wait for X of Swords. And then Worlds came, and it's like, yeah, here we are, we're back, boys.
Can I maybe just sum up my thought there with just, I'll be really glad when Jubilee and Maggot retire this upcoming summer.
No figure has traumatized you more than Jubilee. I swear. Oh.
Yeah, I agree with that, Tyler. It's definitely a little PTSD.
Yeah. And Maggot.
Yeah, okay. We can move on.
Okay. Yep. Good. That's a way to get y'all to move on.
Set of the year. Rip
Yeah.
DC.
Yeah, for sure.
No DC sets were released this year. There was I think there was like a little one.
No.
Nothing. Okay,
Some
never mind.
Connellies.
Okay.
I mean, I fully believe the intention was Batman was supposed to release this year.
Probably, yeah.
Like, with how close it is right now, like, what, 2 weeks off? And you think of, like, all the sets that had to have been pushed throughout the year, like X of Swords was pushed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Makes perfect sense that Batman was supposed to be our November one, not Avengers Forever.
Yeah,
I get it.
This one's another runaway, and it makes sense.
Yeah,
Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney Plus. Yeah, for sure. So, but I do like Chad Carson's comment. Disney Plus equals big yikes. This didn't ask what set had the best chases to cover up how awful it was.
Yeah, so there's some. It's really our audience, and these polls lean much more towards the meta than anything else.
Right.
And Disney Plus was so meta defining, largely because of the chases, and the objects are a big part of it too. I can see that. Probably if you like for like casual or for just like figure design and things like that, probably Avengers Forever is a better set in a lot of ways, but meta wise it's definitely not, and that's why Disney Plus takes such a big lead.
Right.
Disney Plus is also, I've mentioned this before, is 8 less figures than like every other set. It's a smaller set, and we forget it's a smaller set because it's never really explained why.
And also, it's Disney freaking Plus. You remember how hyped we were when this set was released? We were getting a Disney Plus set. Like, it's crazy that happened. It's a really cool set. It's all right, all the shows and things.
Well, don't forget. Did you guys remember Loki and them came out in 2021?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I could swear in my head Loki was like this past summer. Like in my head, it's like, oh yeah, this past spring or something. Yeah, that's when Loki and whatnot came out.
No.
Like, nope. It was last summer, like 2021 summer, that everything came out.
Yeah.
I will say I am a little surprised Empire didn't do better. I thought Empire was very well received. Like, I thought it would do better than X of Swords.
Really?
I thought people liked Empire. It
I
was
did.
sold out everywhere.
Yeah, I do. I thought it would do a little bit better as well.
I remember hating Empire. I don't like anything in the set.
Are you sure you're not thinking of War of the Realms?
I'm
War of the
looking
Realms is the
through
one
it.
that like nobody liked, but
What superheroes do I like from this set? Captain Marvel Prime is kind of cool.
the Swab Captain America is good.
No.
It is. The Shield Wolverine wasn't bad.
No.
Ultron Pym is pretty good. It
No.
just hasn't, like, in general, not necessarily meta defining, right? Maybe it's just you were so turned off because Venom Rogue was so good, and then she got hit.
No, this set disgusts me.
Captain Marvel's great. Mr.
He is.
Fantastic's been a meta staple on like every Fantastic Four team.
Yeah, but he's not. I'm not excited for whatever. I don't like this set that much.
That is one man's opinion.
Yep.
One man's opinion.
Metafigure 0
Metafigure.
through 49 points. Venom Magneto with 44% of the vote.
This
Is not surprising.
really, Mad Jim? No.
I think.
I mean, he had 20%. He was number 2. And he only really had one event to show off.
Yeah, that's true. For the amount of time, I could see it. Mad Jim is better than Venom, in my mind.
I mean, Venom Magneto and Mad Jim both won Worlds.
Sure.
I think there's a good crowd though.
I agree.
Yeah, that's true. It's pretty close.
What I was gonna say is I think there's a decent crowd that doesn't like Mad Jim.
Really?
because it's become one of those pieces where it's like, well, your team is just not as good if you don't have Mad Jim. Being able to swap the objects, it gives you that Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
And some people see that and be like, I don't like that. I feel like I have to play this figure. And I have times where it's like, you know, we've had debates building teams and whatnot. It's like, oh, I've got Mad Jim. I'm like, why? Well, so I can put an object on one figure. And I'm like, why? Well, I could swap out in this one other. I'm like, but okay. And it's like you could do Destroyer and something. Well, no. And it's like, well, I can't fault you. And it's like, that's kind of annoying. That it's like, I've got this much space. I feel like I have to play.
I agree. It is annoying that he is too good. When he came out, I said he was the best point for point piece, except for maybe Iron Man, and I stand by that 100%. I think he is so much. He's like a head and shoulders above Molecule Man to me, and Molecule Man took it in a landslide last year. So, but he did get released later in the year, so maybe that is factored into it. And in fact, Venom Magneto obviously was everywhere, like all the time, forever. I played him a lot this year.
Yeah, not a broken piece. Didn't need to be nerfed or anything. Just because no one wants to nerf support pieces that
wasn't even on the list.
That were just clearly too undercosted. But you know, whatever.
All right.
Metafigure 50 through 99.
Yep, this one makes sense.
Sakarian Iron Man with a close follow-up. Well, not a close follow-up, but the runaway follow-up was Scarlet Witch, comparatively.
Yeah. Somebody added Sky Tyrant, and that got third. I'm going to go ahead and remove that.
Once again, confusing question. So.
Well, I shouldn't have. It was my fault for leaving it on there. But yeah, the other ones were like Arachnite, but it got released last week, basically. You know, Captain Marvel was sort of just there to add 5 pieces. But yeah, those two are far and away, and Sakarian Iron Man is like everywhere.
Is Jason asleep?
No, I'm right here.
He's hanging in.
I'm
Any
struggling
thoughts,
now.
Jason?
On the metafigure?
Yeah. 15.99.
That's gotta be Saki for me.
Okay, good input.
Yeah.
All right.
No.
You can tell we haven't stayed up in a while because we're all like
I am struggling to stay awake, I'll be honest.
Dude, I'm ready to play some TFT. Meta figure 100 plus points.
This was a good one. Really
close. It was pretty close.
Really close, right? Thanos in the lead, Apocalypse, Legacy, and Destroyer.
Yep. So some people didn't want to vote for Destroyer because he has 0 points, and that is fair. But he's got to be here somewhere, and it didn't feel right putting him at the low point one.
He has given up 100 points. That has happened in multiple games. So
yeah,
should have put like sideline metafigure of the year.
maybe that'll be a category next year. But yeah, this one makes sense. Thanos obviously is Thanos. Apocalypse had such a great showing later on, and Destroyer was just everywhere. But yeah, this is probably the closest one, and it probably should be.
You know, I keep going back to that 50 to 99 because I keep thinking like, surely those aren't like the only two pieces. And it's like,
I know.
So this is like a trend? Like, it's one where it's like I almost want to somehow look at the data more and be like, okay, let me look at all the pieces made this year, and like, can we see some trends in the design planning of WizKids to where like, are they now trying to tailor to more higher point pieces?
No.
I mean, we got Thanos, we got APOC, we've got Arachnite's at 100 is arguably better than his lower point. Like, a lot more figures, if you look at them, are probably better are probably more tailored towards 100 points.
I think they're trying to push for it because before it was like you play 10 pieces that are 30 points, and that was the best. So they're trying to combat that, and you have to make high point pieces really, really good to be better than 5 30-point pieces. And I think that's was they tried to do that with Thanos. They tried to do it with other big tentpoles. Things that didn't work in the past kind of were like Juggernaut. There was the 3 in that set: Juggernaut, Prime Vulcan, and the Sentinel lady. And they didn't really pan out too well. and then they had to keep pushing and pushing it, and I think that Thanos was the result of that, and Apox to a lesser extent.
Gladiator was big at a time at 100 points.
Yeah, true.
It's just interesting.
So Apoc is just nobody's worried about him at 300 at all.
At 300?
Yeah. No,
Oh, that one.
Yeah, the prize Apoc. Just not even in consideration at all anymore than anybody's mind.
The full one?
Yeah.
No. The power erasers.
Dan, do you have power erasers? And can you beat that guy with a soul sword? With your team?
Yeah, because I have Pulse Wave.
Yes.
Oh, no, sorry. Yes, I have Genesis.
What does Genesis do?
Brings in any sword I want.
And you drop it? Can you drop it?
No, I just
Bring in God Killer and stuff.
I just go up and attack him with Genesis.
That seems optimistic.
I have multiple Perplexes on my team and the Venom Magneto for TK. And a Sicarian Iron Man and a Sky Tyrant with nearly full map reach, because I should win map, statistically speaking.
He's got a 20 defense and like double rollouts at least.
But it's also a figure that's not very entertaining to play. There's only a few people that can tolerate to play a 10 pole at 300.
Yeah, I mean, I like his design because he's most Temple's optimal way to play them is to run away. His is not. You want to get in there because he wants to steal energy. He has a close combat rollout, things like that. So
yeah, I could just keep
Like,
attacking. It's fine.
Most of the time, when you talk to people that are playing a 300-point 10 pole, they are usually not smiling and having a great time.
I do.
I was gonna say there's a few of them out there. I can name a couple of them.
I don't mind it.
Yeah, every once in a while.
All
right. So last big category of the year is overall meta figure of the year, and Sicarian Iron Man takes it with 48% of the vote. Not a big surprise there, right?
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3.
No.
I mean, I'm actually. I think Scarlet, but it's so hard because.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
But you literally look at like Saul's team: Sicarian Iron Man, Venom Magneto, Scarlet Witch, Mad Jim Jaspers.
Yeah, that's true.
Not in that order, but yeah, basically Saul's team was meta figure of the year.
Definitely recency bias.
Yeah, because like, I feel like Thanos should be second. No?
He should, but people just have. It's like
Forgot about him.
No, it's
People-
more like PTSD.
People just hate Thanos.
Yeah, it's just it's been a frustrating figure to play against. So why would you say it's the meta figure of the year? At the same time, though, number 2 figure. Yeah, it doesn't need to be nerfed or anything. That's fine. Yeah, everyone loves it.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Venom Magneto. No need to change a thing.
Well, do you think we none of us think Sicarian Iron Man needs change, right?
Nope.
So, I mean, a figure can be good. That's fine. But yeah, it makes sense. Sicarian Iron Man is, I don't think anyone can really argue with you if you tell him he's the best figure in HeroClix right now and will be for a while. We've said it since his preview. It doesn't make sense that he has 50 points. Yeah, he like all around, and it's a great figure. It's fun to play. It's not super annoying to play against. It's a very, very, very good figure.
I am surprised. I feel like Destroyer should be up
A little higher.
That-
Yeah, I think he's kind of fallen off, and he wasn't. His window was pretty short.
It's
right?
direct. I feel it's direct correlation to Mad-Jim.
Yeah.
Well,
feel
the
like
falling off is, but he came out. When did he come out?
War of the Realms.
February. Yeah, February.
He's been out for all
so
year.
it's been a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's direct correlation with Mad-Jim because they're basically the only 2 primes being played. Like, there's a couple, obviously, on select teams, Like X-Men might have a different one. I don't know. But for the most part, it's, are you playing Matt Jim? No, then you play Destroyer.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Like,
That just make me sad.
Everybody's been playing Mad Jim in the past like 6 months or since he came out, so Destroyer's not seeing as much play. But meta impact, I would argue probably Destroyer has made a bigger meta impact, as in from a game to game basis potentially. But then again, Mad Jim's been making a big splash too. It's hard because Mad Jim's a support and Destroyer's a.
It's also hard to give meta figure of the year to a sideline piece. For me, it would be.
That's right.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's. I think we're ready to move on to final thoughts.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, final thoughts, Jason.
Of 2022.
Yeah, final thoughts of 2022.
And
it was nice to get back to some in-person play this year.
Yes, I agree. Alex?
Yeah, definitely. Look forward to 2023. I'm excited about Batman. I think that'll be a great set. And Spider-Man and all that. 2022 was a pretty good year. It's a good step in the right direction. Let's just keep it going.
I agree.
I agree with that.
My final thoughts is I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in Florida. I'm always looking forward. 2022 was glad to get back to some in-person play. And, signing off for the final time this year, and look to see everybody next year. And thanks everybody for listening to Clixed Off, and we'll talk to y'all next time.
Yeah.
See ya.
Later.